Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Sammy and this is Harley's Dollhouse. So this video is another commission video. This is the concept I was given. The original artist is called Moomlie Art, I believe. I will leave their social pages down below so you can go check their artwork out. I was super excited to do this one because it's something I haven't done before and I really love the concept. So for this particular doll, the customer wanted me to use a Draculaura head, so I'm going to go ahead and start preparing her. Just cutting her hair off, and I'm going to heat her head up and remove the hair and the broken neck peg that's left inside. And also remove her face with pure acetone, and we're also going to be shrinking it. Also, this head will be going on a little Bo Peep body that is from the Toy Story movie. The customer sent me the doll, so I will show you that later in the video. But now let's go ahead and shrink her head. I am using this spare jar that I have on hand. I am going to fill it with 100% acetone. And submerge her head into the acetone. Kind of poke it around a little bit with this chopstick. Kind of get it submerged there. There we go. And I will leave it in the jar for 2 hours. I did not show the full process. I apologize. There's a lot of footage for this video, but I did follow the Dollightful tutorial and I will link that down below. So here's her head already shrunken and dried. I used the pokey tool to poke in the holes so I could put in the wire here so we could start making her horns. And after I add the wire, I'm just going in and like twisting it together to create a horn shape, and we will go in with the 2-part epoxy sculpt to do the horns. And using my needle nose pliers, I'm just going in and twisting up the wire inside the head so the wire does not fall out. And now it's time to use the 2-part epoxy sculpt to build up the horns. For the base part of the horn, I tried to make it as smooth as possible to the head since they need to kind of blend in. The goal here for the horns is to make it super seamless from where the head and the horns meet. So to help smooth it out, I like to use alcohol and rub that around on the epoxy sculpt. It helps it make it really smooth. And now that I let her horns cure for 24 hours, I'm going in with my Dremel and just now sanding it down just to kind of make the bottom part very seamless. Need that really smooth transition there. And also because I am sanding inside, I am wearing the appropriate mask. I was wearing the one I usually spray for MSC just so I don't breathe in the dust particles. And I get the mask off Amazon, so I'll leave the link for that down below. And after I was done sanding that, I'm just using a buffer sander bit here just to kind of smooth out the bottom. And here's a little Bo Peep doll. She has arrived. Here's a size comparison. The head's very similar to the Monster Size doll that's not shrunken. So here is the shrunken head compared to the other one. She's fully articulated. She has articulate ankles. She has these nice double jointed knees and posable arms. I will have to sand the underwear off. That was requested. And And this is what the neck peg looks like. Definitely want to be cutting it down to be able to fit the shrunken head on, because the neck hole is definitely way smaller than what's on the body. I actually did have to Dremel it and then make the head like a ball joint doll style. And I didn't show that on camera, so I apologize, but I basically just drilled in 2 holes in the top, threaded some elastic through, and then tied it to the neck peg after I made the neck hole big enough. So because I do have to airbrush her, because in the concept art she is red, first I'm sanding off the glossy coat off the body, and I will be airbrushing her body and head outside. But before she gets airbrushed, it was requested for her to have a bigger bust, so I'm just using my 2-part epoxy sculpt again and doing my best to give her a bigger bust. After I get my 2 equal parts of epoxy sculpt, I'm just going to mix those 2 together. And because this is normally not something I do, I definitely had to do some referencing. One of my favorite artists that does this a lot is Hextian, so he is definitely a good one to watch with doing body mods like that, with making bigger busts and hips and all that. He is like amazing. So I'll definitely leave his YouTube down below so you guys could go check him out if you haven't already. And very similar to the horns, I just used alcohol to smooth down the epoxy sculpt where I wanted it to be a very smooth transition, and then also the same with the sanding part. I used the sandpaper bit to sand it down and then use the buffer. And finally, we can move on to the face up. She is definitely a lighter red. The camera just is really picking up that red color and making her seem brighter than what she is. And also, to start with sketching out her face, I'm just using a brown watercolor pencil. And then I'll be filling in her eyes with my General's White Chalk Pastel. That way it gives her eyes more of a blank canvas and easier to build up the color if I'm starting with something lighter. And I must have been feeling very brave that day, because I went in on the first layer with using a black pencil to start sketching out her eye wrinkles and her irises, and also her eyebrows on the first try. And using my red pastel, I'm just kind of trying to do my best here to contour her face with creating shadows. It was a little tricky since she was already red. That's why I wanted to make her more of a lighter red base, in hopes that I could still create some dimension on her face and body. And to create some highlights on her face, I am using my white pastel. demon has blue eyes, so I'm starting with a lighter blue as a base, and then I will shade in a darker color on the top. And because her head is shrunken, it was really hard to get in those bottom lashes. I had to like move her head at a really weird angle to get them on, or to draw them on, I guess. And to give the demon girl a more sultry look, I am adding some black pastels on the top of her eyelid here and a little bit on the corners to give her a smoky eye. And going back in with my white chalk pastel, I am just kind of making some little lines here on the bottom of her iris to make them look brighter. And now it's time for the body blushing, which I tried really hard to create some definition. It's just am very limited on colors, but I did my best with kind of combining the red and like my pink pastel and also highlighting with my white pastel as well. And now she magically has hair. Just kidding. I thought I was recording while I was adding her wefts. But anyways, so for the curly hair, I'm just heating up a chopstick and twisting the hair up around on the chopstick like so. And creating these cute little spiral curls. Honestly, this took forever to do with curling all the hair, but it was definitely worth it in the end. I actually am in love with the hairstyle. It's very like vintage pinup girl. I just love it. And to kind of make the bangs a little more floofy, I am just taking a little sewing pin here and just kind of pulling the curls apart gently, not to fray them out too much, but just enough to give it some volume. And because her bangs are short, so I am just kind of trimming around to make her bangs. I'm trying to give them more like that V bang shape. And now it's time to curl the ponytail part. And I'm just heating up my chopstick and going in section by section and making little curls. And voila, she is done. Look at this beautiful hair. I think this is probably one of my most favorite hairstyles I've ever done. So for her outfit, I did make her a cute little bralette and boy shorts off camera just because I didn't have a pattern. For her, I had to make one from scratch. And to give her outfit a cute little touch, I thought it would be cool to give her a pentagram harness. I watched a tutorial from my good friend Krystalsfantasy. I will leave the tutorial in the description down below for you guys. because honestly I followed it and then I didn't know what I was doing in the end, but somehow I still made it work, and that's all that matters. So previously I made a hole in her back to do her tail. I made her tail out of this posable wire cable stuff that my husband gave me, and epoxy sculpted a little arrow at the end, or triangle if you will. And I'm just using some super glue to glue it in her back here. And now it's time to show her off. So what do you guys think of her? I think I really love her, and I'm sad that I have to ship her out. Maybe I'll have to make one for myself and for my own version. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about her. I personally think she is my favorite commission I've ever done. I don't know, so there's something about her I just really love, and I hope my customer is really happy with her. And also thank you so much for your love and support for my channel. It really does mean a lot to me. And please don't forget to like and subscribe and to hit that notification bell so you know when I have a new video up. Alright guys, I'll see you next time. Bye!